Trish Bertuzzi. Welcome to Women Your Mother Warned You About.
Oh my God. Is there a better title on the face of the planet?
I don't think so. Hey, Warners, welcome to Women Your Mother Warned You About,
the podcast that makes sales sexy again. I'm Rachel Pitts, mom, realtor, and creator of The Closing Curve.
You sound so sexy every time you say that. And I'm Gina Tremarco, founder and sales trainer at Pivot 10 Results and Carolina Improv. Hey, Rach, how's it going?
Thank you so much for complimenting my sexy voice. You know, there was a few years ago where I used to hate the sound of my voice because it's a little bit lower in tone and such. But I went to a sales training with Bill Pipes of the Tom Ferry organization, and he was talking about the different tones of voice, and I was one of the women in the room that had the lower voice, and I got up and spoke on the microphone to demonstrate the lower voice. And then the whole rest of the weekend, everybody was like, it's the girl with the sexy voice. And I was like, oh, I should be using this voice more, because I would always try to make sales calls like, hi, this is Rachel and I'm calling da-da-da. And that's not my most effective voice.
I like your sexy voice.
Yeah, all the boys do too.
I have sexy voice envy.
What is it? Juicy G? What was it that
oh my God. What was it? Oh my gosh.
That Jared called you.
Smoothie G.
Smoothie G in the house.
Smoothie G in the house. I don't even remember.
Juicy G works too, though.
I like Juicy G. I'm juicy. I won't wear the juicy pants, but I'm juicy.
Indeed.
God,
indeed.
I'm afraid Doug's going to use that some way. Now I've lost track. I've got sidetracked. Oh, so let's talk about the show coming up. I'm so excited for people to hear this interview because we just interviewed the most amazing Trish Bertuzzi. I'm so happy she's Italian. Founder and CEO of the Bridge Group. Trish founded the Bridge Group in 1998. Since then, she has promoted inside sales as a community, a profession, and an engine for revenue growth. Ask anyone who's met Trish, and we just met her, and they'll tell you she is passionate about inside sales. She is passionate about life.
Yeah, there's something about her power, and I know I just discussed it with her a little bit during the episode, but she's very powerful presence. She's a very confident presence. And I mean, obviously that has been instrumental in getting her to the level of success that she is at, because she's got that it factor. I mean, and I was like, frankly, a little scared. She like threatened to make us cry at one point. And I was like, oh God, I'm going to cry just thinking about you making me cry.
She said if she was 10 years younger, she would have found a way to make us cry. Oh my gosh.
She would have had me in about 30 seconds, not 45. But she's amazing. And Trish and her team have worked closely with over 400 B2B technology clients, to drive scalable growth. And she's the best-selling author of the Sales Development Playbook. And I look forward to you guys hearing about this world of sales, because I'm not super familiar with B2B. I haven't had experience in it. But she is an expert, and she's absolutely wonderful.
And she said they've sold 20,000 of those books.
Yeah, and I'm not even B2B, but I'm like, I want one, I think, after I'm talking to her.
I know. I didn't tell her this, but I mean, I did want to prepare, and we don't have the book. And hint, Trish, if you want to send us the book, we'll read it.
Yeah, you can just send one, because Gina will let me share it. We share books.
Which, by the way, you owe me the Ziegler book. You still
have it. I have it.
Want it back?
I'll bring it to you.
Oh gosh, I forgot again what I was gonna say. Anyway,
you were gonna tell our listeners about Warner World.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna do. I was gonna tell before we roll this interview, Warner World, warner-world.com. It's our new membership group that you can get more time with us, webinars and live feeds and live streams and time with us and ask your questions and coaching and a whole bunch of stuff. Some fitness stuff from Rachel, my spontaneous selling 1.0. just go check that out at warner-world.com. And we're offering you something special. It's only $20 a month to be in it. But if you go and give us an iTunes review, we are rewarding you with an amazing shout out about who you are and thanking you for the review and 3 months free access to Warner World. So check that out.
Nice. And if you haven't given us a review, please do so. We appreciate it. 5 stars is our favorite. And leave something.
We'll take any stars.
We'll take any stars. We just really would love to hear from you is what we want. We want to hear, something fun that you learned from our episode that we can share, something that you went out into the world and used even better in your business or your life that is a story of success of using something that you heard from us or one of our guests, or also what you'd like to hear us talk about. Like, give us your suggestions. You can access our iTunes page from our website, womenyourmotherwarnedyouabout.com.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's just get on with this interview because it was like I felt like I was on an amusement park ride with Trish Bertuzzi. Everybody enjoy this episode.
Do you consider yourself a woman that your mother warned you about in any way, shape, or form?
I consider myself a woman that mothers warned their sons about. Does that count?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, my husband's mother warned him about me. So, yeah.
What was the warning?
Well, I was actually friends with her before I started seeing him. And when I told her that I liked him, and I didn't put it exactly that way, it was much more graphic. But she's like, oh, no, Trish, leave him alone. He's such a good guy. I'm like, yeah, nope, got to do it.
So you kind of power framed him? Is that what happened?
Oh, yeah. Set sights on him, and that was the name of that, too.
How long have you been married?
30 years. It'll be 30 years in August.
Wow.
Yeah. We're technically not married.
You could have just stuck with it.
Fear of commitment
or fear of his
I'm not
mother.
a good wife. You know what it is? I'm not a good wife. You know how your self-awareness is so critical?
Yes, yeah.
I am not a good wife, but I am an awesome hang out with me for 30 years person.
I love
that is awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's good to be aware of that because some people are good. I'm very good at getting married and divorced, and now I'm married for the long run.
Could beat you. Whatever. That's a topic for another day.
I swear I'm going to write a book one day called How to Get Married and Divorced and Married and Divorced and then Married.
Oh,
I got it down. I'm ready.
3 times a charm?
Yes, no, for sure. I mean, the one, my husband now is really wonderful, and I feel more married to him than I felt in all the other years of the other people, so I know this one's good. Well, and I've learned how not to do it as well. So we both learned how not to do it.
There's this thing called dating. You might want to try that before you did it's like, what are you, in your 20s?
I love you. You're so sweet.
God. I don't think we're ever going to talk sales. We're just going to talk with Trish because she's a hoot.
No, let's focus in on Trish and what she's got in terms of sales because she has so many things to give us. I'm sure she's passionate about inside sales. So tell us about how that all came about. Like, what's your background? Tell us your story, how you got there. And
oh God, my story's boring, and I've told it a million times. I've been doing this.
Tell a new one. Make it up.
No, it's just, I've been doing this. I've had the Bridge Group for 21 years. So it was pretty traditional. I was a waitress. I got discovered. No, dead seriously, but I got discovered for sales, not the movies. Just started doing it, and I just loved it. And I don't think I would have loved face-to-face sales, but I love back then the anonymity, you know what I mean, of phone sales. Like, you could be whatever character you still can to some extent, be whatever character you need to be to engage with your buyer. And I love that. And I just love the whole thing about figuring out problems and working with buyers to build a better business. It's just like, it's the best job in the world. It really is. It's so fun.
Did you play different characters?
within the confines of legitimacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like phone sex, but, within the well, maybe sometimes it was, but mostly within the confines of legitimacy, you would play a different character. Like, you have to read your audience, right? So if I'm still to this day, if I'm talking to someone who's all buttoned up, I'm all buttoned up. If I'm talking to someone who I know needs high energy, well, not that I don't have high energy, but, you bring that to the table. If I know someone wants me to be super direct, I'm super direct. If I know someone who's not comfortable with that, you got to read your audience.
And that's a really great cue for anybody who's doing a lot of sales on the phone, or I'm in real estate, so we spend a lot of time on the phone, and the fear of the phone can be overcome by getting into that character. Just create the character that's needed, or figure out what the character that is needed as you're on the phone with that person, to take it out of, oh, I might fail at this, to, no, what character do I need to succeed at this?
Right. So they're not rejecting me, they're rejecting my persona. Yeah, we could do that.
I once, Rachel, I think we've talked about this before. We once did, because I own an improv comedy theater, Trish, and school. And so we used the improv in sales training. And I had a group of women like literally go through this character building exercise that we would do in improv to help performers become characters. And then I made them take on those characters. And because our theater's in a mall, I made them walk through the mall in those characters and literally make asks. Like I gave them like a list of things to ask strangers for. Like ask that guy to buy you a soda. Walk into that massage place and ask them to give you a free shoulder massage. Like literally made them ask for these crazy things because they were really introverted entrepreneurs who were really uncomfortable with sales. And so I was pushing them into character, and they actually enjoyed being characters instead of being themselves.
Yeah. So you bring up an interesting topic. And I'm going to focus on the couple things you said. One was introvert, ask, and sales. Mm-hmm. So not everyone in sales is an extrovert, nor should they. Some of the best salespeople are actually introverts. So one of the things I see sales trainers do, or even sales coaches or leadership, is think there's one way to ask for what you want in the sales process. Mm-hmm. So we always coach our clients, like, you got to figure out, we're going to give you questions, and the questions are based on probably more of our style than your style. But for some people in your team, you've got to teach them and ask in a softer way, a way they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to bring out.
Yeah, you have to find what works for you and is in alignment with who you are versus, like, one of the things we talk about is getting off the script a little bit, getting off of the process and the playbook and actually infusing play into the book. So we talk about book of play and how that can complement the playbook.
I love that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It plays really well into Trish's book. Do you want to tell us about your book?
No.
Yes.
The Sales Development Playbook.
I should have grabbed a copy. They're over there. Yeah, so I wrote the Sales Development Playbook. It came out in January of 2016. Our goal was to sell 500 copies. I'm figuring I know 500 people, right? That's what we're going to do. But last I heard, we had sold over 20,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing because, it's a very specific audience. It's B2B tech primarily, although it is industry agnostic. And you would think it was, it's just one piece of the sales process. So, yeah, we're really proud of it. Really proud of it.
In the book, you talk about 5 whys. Can we touch on that and what that has to do with ADA, with the attention, interest, desire, and action, and then how that plays off of your 5 whys?
So I'll have to go get the book and look at what the 5 whys are.
So
why listen? Why care?
Why care? Why change? Why you? Why now?
Yeah. I mean, why not? Right? So I think, you have to look at your sales process, especially now, because right now, the hardest part of the entire sales process is getting people to engage with you. Like, totally getting people to engage is much harder than closing a well-qualified opportunity. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. So the why listen and why care has become a critical success factor. And what we've done is made people not want to listen and definitely made them not want to care, because we've bombarded them with shitty messaging, shitty content, shitty tactics, just like, oh my God, really? Like, how many emails do I get every day from some poor sales development rep who's saying, you didn't respond to my last email, so I thought I'd email you again. Well, you weren't interesting then. You're less interesting now, and I feel bad. And can you put me in touch with your boss so I can sell him our services? I mean, like, come on. So
she's like my sister of another mister.
Yes. I knew you'd like that, Gina.
Oh my God.
There you go. So, the why listen, why care has become harder and harder. We really need to focus on rising above the noise there, being different, establishing empathy, credibility, arousing curiosity. Those are the two whys I care most about right now.
What are some ways to teach people? It's a hard question. How do we teach people how to care?
You can't teach people how to care. I mean, that's innate. You either care or you don't. Hopefully the people we care, and this should be part of the hiring process, the people we hire care about helping our buyers build a better business. If all they care about is hitting their activity goals, you get what you get, and you get what you deserve, I might add. So infusing them with passion about how whatever you're selling helps people have a better life, whether it helps them find the perfect home, or helps them lose weight, or helps them be an entrepreneur, whatever the case is, they have to be passionate about what they're doing every day, or it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, people can see right through it if you're, like you said, going back to reading the script, or if you only really care about making the sale rather than making a difference in your prospect's actual life and business.
Exactly.
I feel sorry for some of the cold calls that I receive, because similar to you, I'm like, who's your boss? Please stop reading the script. Are you reading a script? Right? Josh, stop reading.
Then I feel so bad. It's not their fault.
I know.
It's not their fault. So I feel bad for them. And, sometimes I try to give them coaching. I'm like, you know what? That was a great question, but I would have asked it this way. They're like, okay. I'm like, oh, why am I doing this to you? Sorry. It's not their fault.
That's why people usually get like really annoyed when they get these sales calls. But people like us, we're like, oh, what can we glean from this person? And like, how can I help this person that's trying to sell me something? Like, what's going to happen?
No, I love when I say to them, okay, stop. Do you know what I do for a living? And you can hear them click, click, click. Yes, you're the president and CEO of the Bridge Group. I'm like, no, you don't know what I do. That's right. That's fine. Just put me in your CRM that you called me. Go. All right.
You're done.
Yeah.
Move on. It's a no.
Is this one of the types of challenges that you and your team experience in helping companies scale and grow? Like, what are is it as simple as that, or is it usually more complicated of what you can do to help them improve so they can really move to the next level?
It really depends. I mean, that's a tactic, right? So how you communicate with your buyers, tactical. And we do provide services around that area. But, we also provide a ton of services around strategy. Do you even have the right strategy in place? Are you using all your resources appropriately to go drive more conversations, more pipeline, more revenue? So everything flows from the strategy.
Nice. And what has been the most fun type of company to work with? I know it's so much business, but you have to be passionate about what you're doing. So what's something that you did for a company that you really thought was fun and enjoyed?
Well, first of all, I don't work with our clients. My consultants do. So
Sorry. Your team.
I'm overhead. I am on the expense line at the Bridge Group, not the revenue profit line, just so we're clear on that, right? But I think everything we do is fun. And, I'm not just saying that. So it's the most fun when you're engaging with a company that wants to change, right? That has the agility and ability to change. Those are fun. When you're working with a company that you're like, you absolutely, this will take you to the next level. You have to do that. Yeah, that's a political touchstone. Yeah, we're not going to do that, or that we'll do it, but it's going to take them 8 months to make that shift. It's, those might be, I'd say less fun, because what we do is we partner with people and we want to partner in success and we want to be there when they're successful. So it requires a little bit of agility.
You're one of the, more well-known women in sales experts out there.
I have a big mouth. Yes.
Yeah. What is some perspectives from you on women in sales in general? It's a big question, but it's like, are we stronger than men? What challenges do you see that we could get better at to be stronger?
So I'll be honest with you. I carried the Women in Sales banner for over 20 years, and I've passed it on. I have a new frontier that I'm going to tackle in the next couple of years that relates to ageism, but that's a whole nother conversation. So we'll get that at a later date. But the whole women in sales thing, I don't think the advice I give people is any different than I would give a man in sales.
Okay.
The only thing I will say to women is we are much more critical of ourselves than anyone else is ever going to be of us.
Yeah.
You need to know that and embrace it. So every conversation you have with someone isn't them trying to degrade you or put you down, or just like, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes people are just giving us constructive criticism. We don't need to beat ourselves up. The market can do that for us. So once again, I'm not sure that I differentiate between women in sales and men in sales.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'm probably not the right person to ask. I am.
Why? I mean, I think everybody, it's good to hear everybody's. We actually, when we have men on the show, we ask, it's always interesting asking men their perspective on women in sales. And I would say that 95% of them always say, and maybe they've just been trained right, but they all say, you guys are way better than us at selling, because you care more, you take the time, you listen. Like every man that's come on the show has said that women are better. It's kind of interesting.
I've heard that many times, and I do find it interesting. So men, strap on your nurture cloak. You too can care. Not that they don't. So yeah.
We just communicate different.
And that can be good. And that can be bad. But yeah, I think we do communicate differently. I think we get to the heart of the matter, what's in it for them faster than maybe others, because we're always like with our girlfriends.
Yeah.
With our family, we're more intimate with a larger group of people, and I don't mean that in any other than emotionally, than I think the hairier sex. Well, maybe not hairier. You know what I mean? Yeah, depends on your age.
hairier in different spots.
Well, there's a lot of bald men out there lately.
Well, when I was looking at your website and checking stuff out, I noticed that a lot of your team appears to be female. So that must be working for you.
Yes. I think we only have 3 men on our team. But let me tell you how that happened. So, because it's certainly not a conscious decision. Well, first of all, one of the men is my son. So if I have to give birth to them, that time might have gone past. So I need to hire more men. But I only hire people I know, right? To me, my brand is everything in the market. Everything, right? I could have been, and we're a fairly significant consulting organization from a revenues perspective. I'm going to tell you, I could have probably been 4 or 5 times larger if I had taken a different path, but I chose to take this path. We only hire people we know. We only hire people that have been in technology companies and built teams at the director or vice president level. So based on that, it kind of, because most women are running sales development teams, so there's more and more men, but initially there were a lot of women, and most women were running inside sales teams. It kind of, I headed down that path a long time ago, and we're expanding, but for right now, yep, lots of women.
Well, that's good. I mean, if it was really based on their achievements in the past and their actual ability, then it doesn't matter the gender. And we're seeing that sometimes in other marketplaces, that sometimes it's the case, sometimes it's not. If you're hired on based on really truly your resume and your achievements and what you can do for the company, rather than are you a guy or you're a girl.
Right.
So kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
And you're primarily in the tech space.
Primarily B2B tech. Yep.
So that's interesting because you've got the tech thing going on and you have a lot of women on your team. How do they overcome some of those challenges? Because I've heard other women in sales and tech that there are definitely some challenges. Sometimes they're the only woman in the room. And it's a different audience to talk to.
It's different, but I think we have the chops to take a seat at the table. So I think it's a little bit different from us. Don't forget, the senior leadership team is the team that brings us in. So the C-suite is always the people who hire us. So we're usually given a seat at the table. I don't hire wallflowers, for lack of a better term. You know, one of the things that is required is that I have to think that I can't make you cry in under 45 seconds. So my people are not shy. They have the chops to back up everything that they do.
That's awesome.
You've got a pretty strong personality. I'm not sure. I don't know about 45 seconds, but I might crumble after a while. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not cut out for that.
I'm mellowed with age. You're good.
I gotta say, I find myself pretty kind of rough around the edges with the chops. I'm like, I don't know if I would make it with Trish.
Yeah, I'm telling you, mellowed with age. Maybe 10 years ago, I would have taken that as a challenge and I would have tried to make you cry now. So,
I appreciate that. Appreciate you pulling back.
Yep.
Well, do you think that, okay, so were you born with this much strength of character, or did you develop it through time, through your experiences in business? I mean, are you just naturally this powerful? Because you definitely emanate a very intense power.
I have no idea.
Really? So then you must have been born that way.
Idea. It's so interesting because I'm so different from the rest of my family. We're really nice people.
Where did you grow up?
In Leominster, Massachusetts, plastic capitals of the world, where all of those pink flamingos that you see on lawns.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow.
And is Bertuzzi your married name or maiden?
It's my married name from my first husband.
So you're not? Are you Italian or not Italian?
Oh, I'm Italian. Listen to me. I'm Italian. I like being Italian. Yeah, I'm Italian.
I love it because I don't know. I feel akin to another Italian woman.
There's something there.
We're tough broads.
You got it.
Especially in Massachusetts. I'm not.
Don't mess with us.
Don't mess with us. Watch out, Rachel.
Oh, I'm not Italian, and that's why I'm like, if y'all both together, I'm about to cry. I think just feeling outnumbered already.
And you're the only blonde in the room, but
I am the only blonde, and I'm also, B2B sales is not something that is my forte. So, I was really like scrounging around, like researching this prior to speaking with you because it's not my forte, of course, because I've not been involved in it. But
hey, at least we did research and we prepared for this.
Don't even get me going, kids. I appreciate that.
But I also love learning about a new aspect because you never know when you'll become involved with somebody who is in that sphere. So, there's always something to be learned. And sales is sales. And as you said, you've got to care. It's the basis of like care about what's happening, not just go in there and just grab what you think is yours,
I saw somewhere on because we really did do our homework. I was trolling you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I saw someone had posed a question, or you posed a question. Someone posed a question. How do you get sales reps to stay with you in 2 years plus onward? And kind of wrapping into that, how do you see the future of sales, especially with a younger generation that might not stay as long? What are some of your thoughts around that for sales leaders?
Well, the reason I put that question on LinkedIn was because the answer was so amazing, and it wasn't my answer. It was an answer that a gentleman I have a lot of respect for, a guy by the name of Richard Harris, actually wrote. And he said, to get people to stay with you, you have to invest in them and invest in them emotionally by knowing what their life goals are, invest in them with increasing their professional skills. I mean, I highly recommend anyone to see if they can go find that post, because I thought it was really, Richard's answer was really well written, and some of the comments were fantastic. The key to longevity, I mean, salespeople are going to leave. Don't think it's a bad thing unless they're leaving you. There's a difference between a salesperson leaving a company and a salesperson leaving their manager.
Yeah.
I think we need to really, really be well aware of what the difference is. So hopefully people are doing exit interviews and beginning to understand which bucket did that piece of attrition fall into.
I have a friend who is a expert in generational diversity, and she's an amazing speaker, and she's super funny. And she was talking about why millennials leave and how their managers say, well, they're leaving for money. And she said, no, they're telling you that they're leaving for money because they want to get a good reference. So they're not actually telling you that you suck.
Yeah.
They're giving you the canned, I'm making more money over here. So that's sort of a reality I think that managers need to think about.
Well, millennials, they're at the point in their career where they should leave. I mean,
yeah.
How do they know they like sales? They probably just landed in it, right? So it's not for everyone. And they might be leaving for money because we're throwing buckets of money at these people, especially in the B2B tech space. So I think you just have to be aware. You have to be, just like in everything else, you have to be self-aware about the culture you're creating. The coin of the realm for millennials, though, I just want to address this point, is equal to money. They want to add new skills to their resume.
Yeah.
So if you're not teaching them anything, they're not going to stay with you.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
They want development.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Right.
Right.
And that is another thing that we've talked about. It's like, don't make it a millennial thing. Everybody wants, unless you're to that point where like, is it time to retire yet? Are we done? Can I go? I don't care anymore.
I'm not done yet.
I don't think you're going to be done anytime soon.
So I don't think so either. I'm looking for a new frontier, though, which is one of the reasons we introduced a new service offering last year. We're taking everything we learned for sales development and inside sales, and we're bringing it into customer success, the revenue generation arm. So I'm excited about that.
Can you tell us a little more about that? What is that?
Sure.
What does that look like?
I mean, it's still going to be all the great services we provide in the other categories, but we're really going to focus on the customer base. We've always been new logo sales. We've always been greenfield, new logo, first time, buy whatever. That's always been our thing. And now I think we're leaving, not we, but I think our clients are leaving a lot of money on the table because they're not taking that same level of energy and investment that they did in acquiring the new logos into keeping their customers, which in my world, especially SaaS, is crazy, and B, really reaping the benefits of incremental revenue from them. So that's our new frontier, and I'm really excited about it.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Anything else?
You are growing. You're growing in a different way. That's great.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to talk about any of your other frontiers? You mentioned ageism. Yeah,
I haven't figured out how I'm going to tackle that one because everyone's think it's going to be personal. and it's not because I'm self-employed, so I don't care. It's just, I see, and this happens, I feel like it happens to women and to men in B2B tech, especially. Like if you're in your 40s, you're starting to get long in the tooth. If you're in your 50s, people are starting to think you're not with it. If you're in your 60s, they just want to be rid of you. So I think that's sad. And I'm going to figure out how to tackle it. I haven't figured it out yet, but I will.
I have a feeling you will.
Yeah.
And when you look at the boomer generation, like again, this woman, I heard her speak. She's like, they're not retiring. There was I don't know if it was a Gallup study, but it was like 85% said that they planned on dying at their desk.
Okay, so I'm in the 15%. I am not dying here. I spent way too long sitting here. I'm going to go die someplace else. Hopefully in my bed on my 90th birthday. I've made up my mind. On my 90th birthday, I'm going to go, happy birthday to... Right? That's what I want for me. But my grandmother, who I'm just like 97. My father, who I'm just like, I think he's 90. He just turned 90. And my mother's going to be 90 in September. Yeah, we don't die. We're too mean. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It seems to
Only
me,
the good die young.
right? And it seems to me that you are a person with purpose, and like you're not going to die at your desk, but you're always going to move with purpose. And I think that when people get older, what I was seeing in retirees is if they've like worked the desk job and they've had this purpose, and then they're like, they kind of hated it at the end, and then they quit it so that they could just do whatever they wanted. And then they lose their purpose, and then that's when the trickle happens of like fading into nothingness because you don't have the purpose.
Right. I would 100% agree with that. 100%. And it makes me sad. Like the people, like I love my job. I freaking love my job. How lucky am I? And my favorite part of the job is when I do outbound. Never mind following up with people who raise their hand or referrals, although that's great. Please feel free. I love saying, I'm going to get that person to talk to me and just like doing it, right? So I can't imagine the day when I wake up and go, wait, what? What am I going to do today? Like, I don't have anyone I'm targeting. Like the poor butcher, I'll have to work for like better cuts of meat. I don't know.
Well, and I feel the same way. People ask me about retiring, and I'm like, I'll probably never retire. I won't necessarily, I just want to move, shift, and grow into only doing the things that I want to do. And really, people should start that a whole lot earlier. Don't stay in something that you don't have the same reaction that Trish just had about what you do. If you are out there hating what you do, like just change it. Start figuring out how to change it.
But you have to understand, generationally, we're boomers. Well, not we, but like my generation is boomers, and we were taught you get a job and you work there for the rest of your life. Right. And I live in a community in Florida in the winter, a beautiful community, and I'm one of the few people that still work. And these people they worked for GE, they worked for IBM, they were firefighters or policemen or worked for Prudential, and they worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and then got their pension, which I want a pension and I want a trust fund. Two things I'm never going to see, but I want them. Okay? I'm just going to put that out there to the universe. I want them. But they were taught, you don't leave. You don't. So I think it's generationally different. I think younger generations have less fear. There's less negative connotations attached to moving.
Right. So. And they're moving because they've seen what's happened to their parents or, the different generations that started losing their jobs and there was no loyalty anymore. And so their kind of attitude is, they don't have the same attitude as a boomer.
Right.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And, sometimes I see, like I've said, like, I don't want to be that person that, the retiree that works at the grocery store. But at the same time, some of these people might be the folks like you just mentioned that retired, still got their pension, but they want some sort of purpose and activity. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I couldn't see like having nothing to do. I
Totally.
think, Rachel, you and I...
And especially, no offense, I hear this from men in Florida all the time. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like at the grocery store or at the golf course or whatever. They're like, I had to get away from my wife a couple days a week. You know what I mean? Because think about it. You've been separated your whole lives, and all of a sudden, bam, you're together 24/7. Right?
For sure. My father worked, for 40 years. He did the 8 to 5 days a week deal, and then he suddenly retired, and he built himself up. So he's got like stuff. But yeah, I know that my parents go their separate ways during the day sometime because they just, they just are used to it. They're used to space. Yeah.
Totally. I get that.
It's a true story.
I want to ask you two a question.
Oh, okay.
How did you two decide to do this?
Oh, we love this question. Do you want to take it, Rach?
I will. Well, we started out years ago. Gina was my business coach for a while. And then I moved on to other things as well as she, but we became buddies. And so we missed each other. So we'd get together periodically for breakfast. And our conversations about sales and business and being a woman in business and all of these things were just so interesting. We were like, we should be recording this. And Gina already has had another podcast, The Pivotal Leader. And so she said, we should just have a podcast. We should have a TV show. Let's just have a podcast for now. So that's how that started.
We're like, we need a reality show where we go around the country and we tell women, put on your big girl panties. You can do it. And then I'm like, that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Let's just do a podcast because that'll be easier. And
my idol. Do you know who I mom so hard?
Who?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think I follow her. I follow her either on Facebook or on Instagram.
It's two women. They are hysterical. They started off just for shits and giggles doing videos. Now they have a tour. It's unbelievable.
That's our goal. We're gonna go on tour. We don't know when, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, Gina thinks it's gonna be in an RV, and I'm like, no, negative on that. You can be out there in the RV, and I'll be up there.
It could be a nice RV.
I mean, I'll be willing to downgrade to like the Hampton Inn, but no.
Well, we're having fun. We really wanted to have a show where we could like help other women get a leg up and like understand every aspect from, we talk about we just did a show this morning about catcalling. Like,
about what?
Catcalling. When someone's like,
here, Bootsy, come here, Bootsy.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about it is the name of this show came about just we were sitting there at breakfast like, what are we going to name it? I don't know. And this Women Your Mother Warned You About came up and we're like, that's pretty good, but let's see if there's something else. And there's never anything better. And what's so fascinating about it is that we've had a lot of male guests who, when they hear that name of that show, they are immediately in. They're like,
we want to be on it. We want to be on it.
So, and women are a little slower sometimes to commit because they're like, let me check my schedule. I don't know. So it's been fascinating that there's been so many male guests, and it's just been a really wonderful process of who, like yourself, that we've gotten on the show to be able to get information from and learn about and become friends with on some level and see what happens in the future.
Where are you guys?
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Golf capital of the East Coast.
I saw that you liked golf. There's some. Gina's a little further north. I'm in Pawleys Island, and I was thinking about you.
I love Pawleys Island.
Oh, it's Caledonia is the most beautiful place to play golf.
Oh my God, you're breaking my heart. That is my favorite golf course ever.
So beautiful.
You need to come visit us.
I do.
My backyard is a driving range, so come on down.
Ooh.
I was just at Topgolf last night.
Yep, brand new Topgolf in our area. Super excited.
Yeah, fun, right?
Where in Florida are you?
Naples.
Of course. Yeah.
Yep, of course.
I don't know why I said that.
I don't know why you said that.
Because it's classy.
Well, you know what? A lot of people, because I'm from Chicago originally, a lot of Chicagoans, that's where they go.
Yeah, it's like down.
Yeah, they go. That's the side that they go to.
Yeah, west side. Yeah.
How far is Naples from Fort Lauderdale?
It's like 4-hour drive.
Oh, okay.
No.
More,
No,
No, I
less?
went to Lauderdale in like an hour and a half.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, Rachel and I are going to be in Fort Lauderdale in June.
oh, well, have fun there. It's hot. I'm a snowbird.
I'll be in Naples.
But anyway, we digress. Don't we need to land the plane?
Yeah, we do. We do need to land the plane. I did want to ask you one because you mentioned outbound. Anything you want to add to that outbound kind of conversation of how salespeople can better engage in the outbound? I like you. Like I love I'm getting more excited about getting someone to agree to a phone call than I actually do about closing the deal. Like I'm so excited about, yes, we're going to have a conversation. This is so exciting because I know at that point I can close because I get them on the phone. But any advice around that?
So be interesting, right? So it's not just about, hey, I want to talk to you. Hey, I want to talk to you. Hey, I want to talk to you. It's about, hey, I know this about you. I want to share that. Or you're going there. I'm going there too. Or I read this. Did you read it? It's just like, it's exploratory. Just like you'd explore a new friendship. Like, what do you have in common? Yeah. That's outbound.
Be curious.
Yep.
Be curious. Yep.
If you want them to be curious about you, you need to be curious about them.
How can all of our listeners get a hold of you and your company?
So our website is bridgegroupinc.com. We employ a fabulous technology called Drift, which is conversational marketing on our site. So you can always just chat it up and say you want to talk to me. Or my email is trish@bridgegroupinc.com.
I wanted to thank Trish one more time for being on the show. And thanks to all of our warners for listening to this episode of Women Your Mother Warned You About. To connect with me directly, Gina Trimarco, you can go to Pivot 10 Results, Carolina Improv, or ginatrimarco.com. And Rachel?
And to find me, Rachel Pitts, you can find me all over social media as Rachel on Real Estate, or you can visit theclosingcurve.com for your free how to buy a home guide and more. And find all of our social media links and free downloads on our website at womenyourmotherwarnedyouabout.com.
And hey, do some girls some favors. A little rating, little review on iTunes would make us the happiest girls in the world. So if you could do that, check that out. And remember, for the best relationships, keep it real, raw, and relevant.
And a little irreverence doesn't hurt either. Bye, Warners.
This really will get serious soon.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. I don't think anybody wants it to be serious.
This has been a presentation of the Sell or Die Network. For more podcasts that you can take out into the street and turn into money, visit sellerdienetwork.com.